We have two large enough to stand against Vhagar. They are called Vermithor and Silverwing.
Spoiler alert. The battle for the Iron Throne between the Greens and the Blacks in the Game of Thrones prequel spin-off series House of the Dragon is intensifying. Since there have already been severe injuries and bloodshed on both sides, the battle has officially shifted to the sky and is currently fought between dragons. The Blacks desperately need more dragons if they are to stand a chance in this bloody conflict, even as each side keeps up its efforts on land to win over other noble houses and seize important areas throughout Westeros. A few dragon seeds and riderless dragons have already entered the scene, so it's safe to assume that more dragons will join this fierce contest for the Iron Throne. Dragonstone is home to various wild and previously claimed dragons that could be important to the Blacks' intentions. These are the unclaimed dragons that have the potential to even the odds in House of the Dragon. They range from well-known dragons like Seasmoke and Vermithor to fabled animals like the cannibal.
Meleys fought 2 dragons and one of them is slain.
Welcome to Movie Spy. The largest and oldest wild dragon that rules Dragonmount, a volcano on the eastern side of Dragonstone, is the cannibal. He is said to have green eyes that are as murderous as coal and to be as dark as black coal, intimidating anyone who tries to claim him. The cannibal gets his moniker since he is known to eat deceased dragons, as well as baby dragons and even dragon eggs. It is unclear how old he was exactly, but some people think he was a resident of Dragonstone before the Targaryens. The bones of those who did not claim him cover his lair, giving him a lethal reputation that keeps everyone away from him, even the Targaryens. No one has ever been able to capture the terrifying beast in George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, and all those who try to tame him end up dead. It's possible that the cannibal will appear in future episodes because the show has a history of altering some of the book's plots, but it's unlikely that anybody will claim him given his lethal reputation. He might still show up even if he doesn't have a ride, either to eat anyone who tries to take him, or maybe just to eat other dragons, dead or living. Whatever role the cannibal plays, many fans expect to see him in House of the Dragon eventually. After all, he's one of the most dangerous dragons and might be a worthy opponent for Vhagar. Seasmoke is a juvenile silver-white dragon who can still fight in battle despite being one of the group's tiniest dragons. Fans are already familiar with Seasmoke, who bonded with Laenor Velaryon John Macmillan, Rhaenyra Targaryen's first husband. However, since Laenor's disappearance and believed death, Seasmoke has been without a rider and is currently living at Dragonstone. Since Laenor is still alive, many people wonder if anyone may claim Seasmoke as her own. The situation surrounding Seasmoke is still unclear. Why didn't he follow his rider, too? Some fans think that Laenor's new restlessness is related to anything that happened to her. But in the book, Laenor is killed, which makes Seasmoke vulnerable to a dragon seed claiming him. The illegitimate son of Lord Corlys Velaryon Steve Toussaint, Adam of Hull Clinton Liberty, is the presumed new rider for Seasmoke, and fans have had a brief introduction to him, whatever the showrunners have planned for the series. Given that Seasmoke has made a comeback to the program this season, he will probably be taken on by a dragon seed, and given his prior experience with physical combat and warfare, he could prove to be an invaluable asset to the Blacks' forces. Unclaimed by anybody. Grey Ghost is another wild dragon of Dragonstone. However, unlike Cannibal, Grey Ghost is timid and avoids human contact. The dragon's name comes from both his evasive nature and his light gray-white coloring, which makes it easy for him to disappear into the clouds. There have been reports of sightings of the magnificent animal circling the narrow sea, where he is known to hunt and graze mostly on fish. Although Grey Ghost's age is unknown, it is assumed that he was a young dragon at the time of the Dance of the Dragons. Grey Ghost has never been claimed by a dragon rider, in contrast to some of the other dragons, primarily because no one can ever find him. One of the hardest dragons to find, despite everyone knowing where he lives, is because he rarely appears. As per the book's events, Alan of Hull goes in pursuit of Grey Ghost at first, but he never finds the enigmatic creature and finally focuses on another. It's difficult to anticipate if Grey Ghost will be taken by a dragon seed in the series, given his capricious personality and penchant for avoiding people. But if he is, his youthful vitality and speed, along with his natural ability to blend in, might be a huge advantage for the Blacks. One of the oldest dragons, Silverwing, initially formed a bond with Queen Alysanne Targaryen, who was also Viserys and Daemon Targaryen's grandmother, Princess Alyssa Targaryen's mother. The tale found in Fire and Blood states that Silverwing was created from an egg laid in Alysanne's cradle by her sister Rhaena. In A Son for a Son, the first episode of House of the Dragon Season 2, Silverwing was described as one of the dragons that flew to Winterfell and refused to cross the enormous wall. Following Alysanne's passing, Silverwing went back to Dragonstone without a ride. Tom Bennett's character Ulf White, also known as Ulf the White, made his debut in The Burning Mill, the third episode of Season 2, and is the presumed new writer for Silverwing. Though White claims to be Viserys and Daemon's half-brother, his father is not identified in Fire and Blood, even though he candidly shares his hidden ancestry with multiple people in a King's Landing tavern. At last, White makes his way to Dragonstone, where he successfully forms a bond with Silverwing, enlisting the seasoned beast in the game. Given that White was first featured in the series, there's a strong likelihood that Silverwing will follow. If the adaptation stays true to the book, Silverwing and her new dragon rider will undoubtedly cause a stir in more ways than one. Sheepstealer is a skinny, mud-brown wild dragon that lives in the Dragonmount Caverns on Dragonstone. He got his name by robbing herders of their sheep, always leaving them alive. Although the dragon's age is unknown, it is thought that he did not consider himself a youthful dragon, having hatched from his egg early in King Jaehaerys' first Targaryen's reign. It is reported that Sheepstealer regularly hunt in Blackwater Bay, Driftmark, and Wendwater, a river southeast of the Crownlands, on the island. It took several years for Sheepstealer to be claimed, which eventually made it harder for anyone to have a relationship with him. Sheepstealer murdered more applicants than any of the other 3 unclaimed dragons in Fire and Blood, but in the end, he mated with a daring young Driftmark woman named Nettles. By providing Sheepstealer with a dead sheep each day, Nettles was able to tame the dragon and make him accustomed to her presence, eventually allowing her to saddle him. Although it is unclear whether Nettles will be included in the series, Sheepstealer might yet make an appearance. Known as the Bronze Fury, Vermithor is the 3rd wild dragon on Dragonstone. King Jaehaerys' first Targaryen, Viserys and Daemon's uncle, was its first rider. Vermithor, like Silverwing, is claimed to have hatched from an egg that Rhaena, Jaehaerys' sister, placed in his crib. As a result, the 2 dragons grew close over time. But Vermithor was once a terrifying dragon due to his enormous size. He is surprisingly amiable and even receptive of anyone who tries to claim him, but that doesn't mean he didn't grill some unfortunate but brave humans. Vermithor was last seen at the end of the first season finale, The Black Queen, when Daemon Targaryen was seen slowly approaching the beast and singing a high Valyrian dragon song to soothe the beast. Hugh Hammer, a dragonseed, managed to claim Vermithor and fight for the Blacks, according to Fire and Blood. Since the series has already introduced Hammer, played by Kieran Bearer, in the current season, it's almost a given that Vermithor will take part in the legendary Daemon Targaryen.